So it's been about a week and some days since the 6.6 live stream, and it's been about 5 or 6 days since I made a video expressing my thoughts on this quote quote backlash. And I've been sitting patiently waiting to see if anything from this boycott were going to bear some fruit. I wanted to see if whether or not Genshin dipped in play accounts. I wanted to see if Genshin was going to make a formal apology talking about this and give away a free tempo. I wanted to see if Genshin was going to bend the knee and then society was going to, you know, they was going to increase the rewards. I was going to see whether or not the CN player base was going to go on Billy or something and then, review bomb the fuck out of the game and then be a situation like it was a long while back where Genshin were making boss accounts to do this or do that. I wanted to see if we were going to get to that level of insanity. But turns out none of that became the case. None of it. Not a damn thing happened. Nothing of note, really. Nothing to where people are making thousands of videos. Me seeing anything on Facebook, YouTube, or even on Google Trends. Nothing in particular. Which goes to show you that this drama, or this quote quote, backlash, wasn't anything of significance. And as sad as it may be, and that it was never going to get lifted off the ground, because the reality is that the loud minority was not going to sway the silent majority to come to their side to fight against something that personally they do not care about or they do not have a reason to get into some bullshit with. That's the reality when you talk about the Genshin community. That's the reality when you talk about any community, honestly. Because the thing is, while the community can be big and sometimes you can have a good chunk of them being in agreement about stuff, there's also the cases where a lot of the loud minority are often the ones always talking and always trying to make a big deal out of every little thing, while the silent majority are often the ones that are not too in depth with the community, not too involved with it in any particular way in terms of looking through news, looking through reviews, looking through anything like that. They just simply play the game and nothing more, because they're not worrying about and all the outside bullshit. They worry about the game they're playing and having a good time playing it. That's how it has always been when it comes to any kind of game. You can apply this to anime, comics, TV series, what have you. Unless they truly care, they're not going to get too deeply involved in the nonsense and the tribulations that happen outside the community or even within the community. So when you talk about the Genshin community, you have to try to sway the silent majority that actually enjoy the game for what it is. They're not worrying about the meta. They're not worrying about the rewards. They're not worrying about pulling for every single character, because some people can pick and choose what character they want, they like, what character they dislike, and who they're willing to pull and who they're not willing to pull. Some people enjoy the story, some people enjoy the lore, some people enjoy the character, and they would much rather get something from that than worrying about everything else the game got going for in terms of the characters and the wars you're getting along with it. I mean, believe it or not, there are casual players that play this game. Believe it or not, there are people that actually enjoy playing this game. I know that seems like a shock to some people. I know that seems just as much of a shock to the detractors out there, but that's just the reality. That's just the reality. And while they don't particularly care about getting 100 or 1,000 amount of motherfucking polls like the next person, they actually do enjoy playing the fucking game. So it was going to be an uphill battle. It was going to be an uphill battle trying to not only get the company to bend the knee, but to also trying to sway not just the CN players, but the casual, silent majority into going to this crusade that the free to play players, the loud minority cares about, and then trying to make it something that the rest of the player base have to care about. You know, the sad truth is, when you talk about real world stuff, is that sometimes people will look at things and the thing they will say is that, hey, it doesn't affect me, it not affecting my life, so I have no reason to care. I have no reason to feel one way or another. Some people can call it, being, absent minded. Some people can say that, they are being a bit selfish or not giving a fuck about everybody else and whatnot. But the thing is, and the reality is that, that's what it is to be human. When something doesn't bother you and something doesn't affect you on some personal level, you have no reason to involve yourself in it. They're not going to focus on something that, in the end of the day, doesn't affect them and doesn't evolve around them in any way. Sure, it might affect them down the line and may even becomes an issue somewhere down the road. But for most, much like myself, until it get to that point, until it reach that point, then no one's going to truly think about it. If it's not bothering them now, they're not going to think about it at that current moment. That's how life is, you know, as, you know, senseless as that can be for most people. That's just how it is for a lot of people, sadly. And, I can wholeheartedly say I'm one of those kind of people. For me, I always look at life as a way of saying, hey, well, I always look at life in the viewpoint of, if it doesn't affect me or affect my family or affect my day-to-day life, I have no reason to be thinking about it. I have no reason to involve myself in drama or involve myself in, politics or beliefs or any of that shit. Because ultimately, if it doesn't affect me in any, then I have no reason to put my nose in it. I had no reason to put my feet into it, or my toes into it, if you will. So when it comes to this, I have my feelings about it, and I stand by those feelings. And when you look at the rest of the community, they seem to also have their feelings about this. Most just don't care. Most aren't trying to get involved. Most think the same way I think. And most, while they might agree on some parts, they don't feel that going through a fucking, boycott riot is the way to go, is the way to do it. You're not going to have everybody agree with you. You're just not. It's not that simple for thousands of the loud minority to try to sway the vast majority of people that are in the millions. It is damn near impossible. It didn't work when the Natlan situation happened. This damn show was not going to work when it comes to this particular issue. And the Natlan situation was a larger fucking thing than this particular thing. Let's be real. We don't exactly have people making petitions saying, hey, we want you to sign this petition so that way we can give it to our governor from our state, so then that way that governor can give it to the governor in China to then have them sign it just to make sure you give us more than 60 polls. There's no fucking way. There's just no way. And the strangest thing about this is that, when you look back at 2024, we had something similar to this happen. People was complaining about that Lantern Ray event because they were giving you 3 fates. But the thing that some people missed to inform people was that there was also a leak a while back as well, talking about a free 4-star skin selector. I'm sure people remember that. There was this whole you can get free 4-star skin of your choosing, just to find out that was false. And then, finding out that you need to get a Chinese port PS4 to even get the code to be able to get said skin selector. And from there, people was losing their shit, complaining about having 3 fates and how the game doesn't appreciate you, yada yada yada. This is despite the fact that Genshin, the year prior, gave you 3 fates at that Lantern Rite as well, and no one complained, no one went to an uproar or anything. But then suddenly, when they found out they wasn't gonna get a free 4-star skin, then all of a sudden 3 fates became an issue. Sounds very similar to what we got going on right now, don't we? Now, of course, you can say the significant difference is that after that Lantern Rite, it seemed like the last 2 Lantern Rite, they finally said, let's just give people a free 10 pull. Let's not do the 3 on face shit no more. Let's just get on full 10 pull, be done with it. But do I think Genshin is going to do the same thing with this? No. The fact that they haven't responded to this particular drama or this particular backlash just tells you all you need to know. That the only people that truly care are the ones that are complaining about it. And the one that truly are bothered by it are the people that, feel that this particular update where we're getting just pretty much the same output we've been getting since Narcry began. And the fact that we gotten pulls even less of this and no one complained about, that suddenly now people have an issue. That suddenly now people want to pretend like this is something of grave importance. But it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, this boycott, this backlash, this riot, if you will, led to nothing. It changed nothing. It accomplished absolutely nothing. The Genshin Ohio didn't respond to this nonsense. The CN players ain't fucking rioting together. The fucking silent majority isn't talking about this shit in some huge ass way. The only people that care about it are the loud minority of players that suddenly have a memory relapse and want to pretend like other events didn't happen that had less polls, but this particular event happened to have a little less pull for 2 characters, and now all of a sudden it's an issue. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. But hey, we know what's gonna happen with this. It's gonna go away, and then people are gonna get hyped, say something is peak, rub their hands together, lick their lips when Syndrome come out. Wait until that happens, then complain about something else, and that be the flavor of the week before they move on to something else. Same shit, different update, different region, different reason to complain about. Hashtag complain impact at its finest.